have been following my feed, I will be going to Manchester to kind of walk through um, what I went through when I first moved to Manchester. So a little bit of backstory here, give you guys a little bit more understanding. Those of you who don't know me, my name is Jerome Arab. Also used to be known as Jeromeo JJ. That was my stage name. Yeah, don't ask. Or JJ from Big Brother Africa. And I ended up in Manchester in 2008 when Zimbabwe was in a really bad state. Well, the world was in a bad state, but Zim was in a very special place. And what that led to is it led to me, say, exploring who I am as a person. I don't think I had a choice, but essentially what happened is we moved to the UK because my mum carried Portuguese nationality, and I was here with my sister. So my sister and I moved. When we got here, um, we had to apply. So under EEA law at the time, we were we had the right to be in the country. We just had to make sure that the officials stamped it off to say yes, they are here on a family visa and they want to stay. So you can come and visit on an EEA visa, but it's not like a visiting visa. If you're a minor, because I was 17 at the time, my sister and I were 17, then as long as our mother was here, we had the right to live in this country. Long story short, we handed in our papers. They never came back. And my mum then decided she wanted to go back to Zim in Zambia because that's where her husband was. So understandably, that's what she did. But our papers never came back. And we were enrolled in school and everything because we had copies and stuff of that. And it all felt like it was going to be okay. And it went south. Within 8 months or so, so we got here in May, June, July, August, September we started school. October, November, December, by about January, they had denied our paperwork. But because we were already in college, I was like, okay, just send it back. But it's almost like they denied it in January, February because they were waiting for us to turn 18. That's another catch. So because now we had come on EEA visas, but we were minors at the time. But as soon as you turn 18, you're now an adult. So I ended up basically saying, send me my papers back and I will reapply as a student. And that was new grounds basically for us to be in the UK. I had an NI number. I was trying my best to pay my taxes and work my way up the ladder, the corporate ladder, whatever it was going to look like. And things just weren't going to plan, if I'm honest. If I tell it, I couldn't believe how hard this system was. The UK system is not friendly at all. At 17 with no paperwork, I managed to somehow get my bearings, but after that it got harder and harder and harder. So to give a little bit more scope on that situation, they blamed Royal Mail, which is the national mailing service, for not returning our documents to us. And Royal Mail had no number. Like you get given like a number where they say, okay, fine, this is the reference number. They had no reference number for our documents. So our papers hadn't been mailed from the border agency, the British border agency. I got tired of asking them, but I needed that paperwork because it affected my national insurance number. So it made it hard for people to employ me. Hey, what's happening? Chat Pixel Gaming. How you doing, bro? Or is it bro or gal? I don't know, but how you doing? Next thing you know, I've got no paperwork. I can't get a job, and I'm struggling to make ends meet. So the space that I was staying in, it was not that comfortable anyway, and I was thinking I need to move out, but with no job. no references and no.
In
It just
200 yards, attention roundabout, take the second exit and stay on A40.
okay. Sorry, I'm just driving. I've got to go to work. But yeah. So anyway, that's how I ended up in that predicament where I was slightly homeless. Hi, how you doing? You good, Ella? And being in that space where you're homeless and you've got nothing is a scary space. And I always say, if I was anywhere else in England, I probably would have struggled to even just see the light of day. But because I was in Manchester, something funny happened there. You know, like people just came together, people supported us, well, supported me in particular, and gave me an opportunity to just live and live an okay life.
A40.
You're gonna go. Sorry, giving way. So
continue on A40 for 4 miles.
Okay. So let's just say openly, nothing's worked. I'm still in college. I'm now going into my second year, so it's the September following year. Had no paperwork now for like 6 months where I've been unable to get work and, you know, get a place to stay in Manchester. But somehow I've managed to survive. My sister's worked out the system. She's just seeked refuge and she's in a different space. She's getting support from college. Me, I'm too afraid to ask for support. Not because I'm scared, but I just don't understand the system. So for me, I'm still trying to find jobs. I'm working cash in hand jobs. I worked in the gym. When I first got to the UK, I worked in Monty's gym. It's closed now. I worked in a clothing store. Max owned it. I can't remember what it was called. A friend of mine now. And, you know, I found just random spaces to make ends meet. There's a studio space that opened up a few months later, which was a dance studio space, but it was an old gym, and I helped them as well set it all up. I was a maintenance man, despite being an award-winning performer, an entertainer, and, you know, pre-bronze ballroom and Latin champion. I met a lot of great people in Manchester. So this return to Manchester is not me trying to be out of my element and, you know, trying to connect with a space. You know, it's more trying to connect with the people that helped keep me alive when I had nothing. For anybody who's going through that, you know, if you're able to watch this, then you're blessed. I couldn't afford a phone at the time. And I could barely afford a meal. I didn't know where my next meal would come from. After moving out of my one space, I found a friend who had papers from Zim. He was of Swiss, so we managed to get a space on his. Paying attention to the road. That's hence how I'm driving. Anyway, so yeah, I managed to survive in Manchester because of people, and it's me going back to connect with these people. If you are in Manchester, or if you know anyone who is there, I recorded in Cheetham Hill. That's the first place I ever recorded. A college called Abraham Moss, and I was singing in Cheetham Hill Park. Can't even remember what songs I was singing. And next thing you know, somebody comes up to me and he goes, "Hey, yo, bro, do you sing hooks?" And I said, "Yeah, I do." And he said, "Oh, do you mind singing a hook for me?" And I said, "Yeah, of course, I don't." Cool, let's do that. So I sang a hook for him and he gave me a beat. It was like a really cool experience, if I'm honest. You know, it was an Adam Noor beat. Adam Noor was on the come up at the time. Can't even remember who Adam had produced for. I think he hadn't produced for anyone significant. But somehow I ended up, just getting this beat, and I wrote number one. Ended up in Abraham Moss. I had my £5. I only had an hour to get the guys to try and put vocals, mix the vocals, give me some sort of a bounce that was unmastered but slightly, mixed okay. And man, I had my first single. I still remember it like yesterday. The song was, the lyrics were cheesy as F, but is this feeling inside?
Take the B4
Yeah, you
and 22
can't
exit
deny
towards Whitney
it
East.
got you by surprise. No, we both pretend we just wanna be friends. I see that look in your eyes. Yeah, so yeah, it was. Cheatham Hill is not as rough as people say, man. When you're part of the, it's a bit thing, but there's good people in Cheatham, man. Cheatham Hill. Anyway, so I recorded in Abraham Moss. Before I knew it, I was living on Cardinal Street. I moved Cardinal Street, and I ended up in Cromsall. And Cromsall was cool, man. To give people a scope of these areas, there was a head found in Cromsall Park, about 10 minutes away from my doorstep. Never ever got reported in terms of like mainstream media. But yeah, these are the ends I was living in. I also got mugged in Cromsall. It was fun times of my life, man. I didn't have much for them to take, but yeah, they still took what they took what they could take. Yeah, I know Gorton as well, because I used to live in Levenshulme as well. I moved a lot in Manchester. So, a friend of mine, Jason Kabede, he used to live in Gorton. And yeah, Manchester was Manchester. It was good, it was interesting, it was something else. And when I go back, I recorded with a guy called Adil Sincere. I recorded with Redline, and it's a bunch of artists. Like honestly speaking, I felt like I was part of the annoyed MC Al's. Oh, rough. I wish I could remember all the names, but yeah. So where am I now? I'm based in Oxford, but I will be heading to Manchester just for this weekend.
Take the B422 exit.
And right now I'm heading to a place called Whitney to pick up a work colleague, and then we're heading to another space.
Continue for 1 mile.
All I'm saying is, if you are in Manchester, if you want to link up, I'll be in Manchester tomorrow afternoon. Piccadilly. I'll probably try and make my way to Cheetham Hill, do the Cheetham Hill walk, because I walked from Cheetham Hill to Cromsall when I was moving, because we had to move a bet, and I just want to do the walk just to see what it's like, because I can't remember what it was like, if I'm honest. How serious the road was. It was anyway. But yeah, this live stream was just me basically saying life in Manchester was great. I want to connect with people, with friends, and even if you've never met me before, but you interested in coming along this journey with me, please just hit me up, drop a comment, and yeah, let's catch up. I would love if you make music. I'd love to come and make music with you in your studio, even if it's a home studio setup. And if you've got business and you want to, I would love to come and check out your business and find out more about it, find out how things are going and where I could potentially help, because now I've got more to give than I had then. But even when I was homeless then, I still gave. So yeah, thank you guys for tuning into this live, and for all of those who, get to see it. Just, yeah, drop a comment, and let's see you in Manchester. Stay blessed.